There's something about change in life. Some of us are good at it and others, well, it's a work in progress. I guess I'd put myself in the category of somewhere in between, depending on the situation. I've been staring at blank white walls in what I call my control room. It's where I do my editing and where I will eventually do some more music recording, hopefully in the future. But it's just been a blank slate ever since we moved in, so I think it's time for a change.
Right?
All new shades of blue, rain tapping on the door. Try to find a peace of mind, maybe something.
And so it began. We drug out our tools and painting gear from years past, put on a holiday classic, and got to work. And Marty let us know when we missed a spot. We have a pretty good system. Kelsey does the trim work, I do the rolling, and when you know your job and what you're best at, it works out well. Do you think everyone has such glorious paint clothes like this? You just find the absolute thing that has either paint already on it, or obviously you don't care about, like these wonderful little sweatpants things that I have here. I don't even know what we call them because we can't call them what Kels calls them.
Slicks. Or this shirt that's from 2001.
Did he do that on his own?
Yes, he did. As soon as I lay down. What's your goal here, man? Huh? What are you doing, buddy?
So of course we finished round one here, and it's very difficult to see the color exactly under the light, and obviously this is going to be under sunlight part of the day, under my artificial lights that I'm going to use for video stuff the rest of the time. So I took out my video lights and I kind of went across here and did a little setup, and if you use any sort of warm light on this right now, you're just getting more of a brown color, and I definitely do not want brown. So I was looking at these samples again, and this is the one that I had chosen, but I think I need to go a bit of a for sure green look under that type of light. So you just never know until you try, I guess, and make some adjustments, but this whole thing had to be painted a dark color anyway, and we needed to do 2 coats, so hopefully this will be the one. Armed with a new paint color in hand, coat number 2 commenced, and in the end, it was a big change, but one I'm definitely happy with. I'll be installing acoustic panels on the walls soon to finish out the space.
All right. 54 3/8.
What could I do that would allow me to get possibly a shelf over here underneath where the electrical stuff is?
Okay.
And still do the workbench thing in the middle, or pushed out. I guess I could push it over to one side, but if we got like a 36 probably, and then how much room would I have on?
8 to the trim work, but you could come out past the trim, you would just lose that little cavity. So let's say you have a workbench thing with drawers that pull out in here. I mean, if you got 36 inches, you'd have 9 inches on each side, which would be about perfect because you've got 8 inches of clearance from the wall to the trim. We could easily put a shelf in here, right there, and then leave this as an open cavity, or we could look for like a 9-inch deep shelving unit, cubby unit, bookcase unit, whatever, but you have to know how you want it organized or how you want to store it. That's why I'm asking that way.
Don't know.
Okay. That's the most important thing to figure out first.
The closet conundrum, as I like to call it. One of the things we never really thought about when building a custom home was finishing the closets as part of the build. We obviously knew where the closets were going to be placed and had a good amount of space in them, but by the time we reached the end of the build, decision burnout is absolutely real, and we just couldn't take on anything more. So the closets really became an afterthought.
That meant something like this where everything is thrown into a big pile and would be dealt with later. Well, that later is
Person
now.
on the top isn't really going to be able to do much.
We would both be on the bottom, that's what I'm saying. Kelsey and I often joke that this car may be one of the ugliest things on the road, but for some reason the way that it is designed with that square back, you can fit so much stuff in here, and it's kind of like driving around a 150 horsepower golf cart. So it's really not all that bad, but we went to the store and bought this tool bench for my closet in my office. Got to the store and realized, man, this thing might be bigger than we think it is in the box, and we only brought this car, but lo and behold, it still fits. Gross weight, 202 pounds.
I don't know, it's a little reminiscent of us moving our stove in by ourselves.
No.
I wanted one of these tool benches because it seemed like the easiest way to get multiple sturdy drawers, and also to have it look nice enough that I can film with this in the background and use it almost as a prop.
Preparedness, that's what this is. And then you have...
And we knew we had enough wall space, but what about getting it through the door?
You may not get out. You have to slip there.
I'm small. Oh man, look at that.
I know, I just had to get in here.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Against the cord.
Told ya.
Yeah, you were extremely confident.
All right, so I took the cord out then.
Okay.
You can do all your space in here. You know, right, there's a saying, place for everything and everything in its place. Do you know how everything gets in its place?
No.
You have to put it there consistently.
Now the fun begins of cleaning up this whole thing and trying to organize everything. So let's get to work.
It's been a very disappointing winter season. I'm one of those weirdos that believes if it's going to be cold, that white snow that provides such a beautiful winter scene should be present as well. Right now, we're sitting at the #1 record all time for least amount of snow this point of the season here at our location in Iowa. The brown landscape turned into a snowy one for a very brief time in January, and Marty was enjoying it too. Back to the closet, Kelsey drew out a plan as she is so good at doing, and we just began to work that plan.
Take your rag.
While we worked to move forward on the closet project, the January transition was on. All of a sudden, little by little, the days felt just slightly longer. The sunlight started to intensify and signaled that the seasons are changing. Slowly, of course, but the signs are there. The warmer sunlight provided a great working light as Kelsey cooks homemade dog food for Joey and Marty. They do indeed live like kings, as they should. The closet shelves were finished and just about ready for organizing.
What's happened today? Dad's got a mess in here, doesn't he?
The snow had melted away as we hunkered down in the house for the coldest weather of the season. Brief moments of flurries transitioned into bright sunny days where it may look beautiful outside, but the wind chill definitely tells another story. Alright, so here's where we ended up on the closet right now. It's a work in progress. Not everything is finished yet, but I want to show you just kind of what we ended up with. So obviously here I have the workbench, and we put some nice metal pegboard here on here so I can fit most of my cords on there. A few different lights. I actually have my old iPod Touch right here. This might be, I think it's the original one, maybe the second one that I had, but it still works. So that's kind of cool to have. And just a whole bunch of cords and stuff here. The shelving turned out really, really good. Have all my boxes for lenses and camera boxes and all that stuff that I like to keep just in case I want to ever sell something. It fits perfectly back in the box there. Got some of my camera bags here on the shelves, and then this shelf right here ended up being just kind of like a decorative shelf for me. So have my father-in-law's film camera, which I'm hoping to get going here really soon, his original Canon one. And then just have a few little decoration pieces, of course my YouTube plaque for my lawn channel. Drones over here. Then the next thing that's going to get added is right over in this corner here. We're going to be adding just a little shelf here. I think we're going to take some of our extra butcher block that we have from downstairs and make a little shelf here. I put these two outlets on this side specifically so that I could have all of my batteries for my cameras. I just had enough outlets basically to make all that happen as far as how many chargers and all that stuff that I have. So I'm going to put that over there on that side, and then probably have all the chargers fastened to there in a row so that everything has its own place. And of course all these drawers kind of have their own thing, and my favorite one of course is the top one, which is all my camera lenses and all that. So I will show you a picture of that. So a few things to finish in here, but I just kind of wanted to show where it started, where it's at right now, and then a few finishing touches to go. But I'm very, very happy with how it turned out and how much storage space I still have in here for other things if I want to. We've got room over here for camera backpack and bags like that. Got some empty space over here, so there's plenty of stuff that I can still work on as I figure out where things go. It's been a very productive January. Lots of things changing inside the house and for the better. They say that the only thing constant about life is change. This painting project was a good representation, not only of the change from all the white walls to a bolder green color, but it proved that when we make a change in life, it's ultimately about being able to adapt. I used to think of decisions as being such a permanent thing. But just like this shade of green that wasn't quite right the first time, we can adapt, try again, and keep going until we get it right. And that's the beauty of it. Because things in life are constantly changing and evolving, and the better that we can roll with these waves of life, the better off we'll be when it comes to that moment that it's time for a change.